Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at James K. Filan's update when it comes to the Ripple versus SEC stuff. Digital Asset Investor had posted this video that I thought was quite informative, so we're going to show this is Joe Lubin getting interviewed here. Tech XRP kind of talking about the European Parliament in this little image document here in reference to Ripple and XRP. We're going to be taking a look at MicroStrategy buys 191 worth of Bitcoin more, adding to their total balance of 129,000. We're going to look at this survey that was conducted. It says more than a quarter of U.S. millennials plan to use crypto to fund retirement. So quite interesting. Ledger launches NFT-focused hardware wallet Nano S Plus, which is huge. And then Ocean's 11 director Steven Soderbergh gives $300,000 to crypto-powered film fund. And lastly, the talk of the town, Tesla CEO Elon Musk joins Twitter board after taking 9.2% stake. So the whole conversation about, him purchasing the Twitter and kind of taking the passive approach, but now it's come out that he's actually joining the board, which is kind of massive. So coming over here to CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a $2.23 trillion market cap, currently down 1.1% for the day. And I've been kind of taking a look at this, the top 10, and more importantly, from this early this morning, like 5 in the morning. So now there's kind of been, some ups and some downs going on. Obviously, Bitcoin sitting at 45,834. And I was actually looking specifically at XRP because I noticed it's been getting flipped by some of these projects, Solana, Terra, and that's kind of been like some talk on Twitter, and especially the people that are, against XRP and Ripple, they praise and stuff. But I've been noticing Cardano and XRP kind of battling for the 8th and 9th spot here. So just some quite interesting, some movement that's going on there. We're going to continue to follow what's going on within the chart, but, we're expecting some positive stuff and price action and positivity with the news coming out for Bitcoin in the crypto space when it comes to this week, especially with the Miami Bitcoin conference. Looking at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're currently sitting at 53. So we're currently up a point from yesterday, which is still huge. We're not in this extreme fear range like we were last month. We're in the neutral range. So obviously, there's some positivity and optimism within the negative narratives that's been going on. So jumping into our topics here, James K. Filan had tweeted, Magistrate Judge Netburn has ordered the SEC to submit its proposed redactions to the court for an in-camera review no later than April 8, 2022. So you can take a look at this document here, but that's just a quick update. XRP Crypto Wolf has something to say here. He says, the amount of patience the XRP lawsuit judges have with the SEC is insane. I would have gone off on them by now with all the back and forth. I mean, I 100% agree. So that's just some quick updates. We're going to keep following James K. Filan because he kind of helps us out when it comes to the, the legal jargon that comes out about the case. Digital Asset Investor had posted this, and I thought it was quite interesting. He says, June 21st, 2018, at some point for the crypto industry to have an ounce of legitimacy, someone is going to have to answer the question, why is Joseph Lubin the only person in crypto who seems to be happy and clear with regard to the SEC, CFTC, and crypto regulation? He says he self-regulates while Library, Ripple, and everyone else dies from 1,000 paper cuts, enforcement actions, and circular BS talk with no answers from Chairman Gensler and friends. This is going to stink until someone steps up to the plate and tells the truth. So let's take a listen into this.
So the other major issue is securities, so tokenized securities. So we've done a lot of work in our Token Foundry group, which does security audits for software. It defines and executes tokens. We've done the legal work to enable us to issue tokenized securities. We've done so with a movie called Braid, which was just announced, got into the Tribeca Film Festival.
I know what that is.
Yeah, and we've done a bunch of different projects around issuing utility tokens that would not be considered securities. And so we discussed the reasons why they wouldn't be considered securities. As long as you're doing your legal homework, there are many different situations. So membership to a platform, consumer access to certain services, access to scarce resources like storage that we talked about before, many different situations where a token could be considered a utility but not a security. And so we feel like in this country, we're well regulated, and the securities body, the CFTC, are up to speed, getting up to speed very rapidly on what the technology is, what the benefits are, and how they should apply the rules that they've been applying for decades to this new technology.
So are you worried at all about the fact that the SEC is now clamping down on these tokens, considering that the vast majority of them have been launched on the Ethereum network, which is obviously, your world? Is that something, I don't know, in Ethereum, are all the insiders going like, oh my God, or what's going on?
No, we're not worried. We've got a great legal team at Consensys. There are so many great projects in our space, so many great projects that are issuing tokens. There are so many bad projects in our space. There's so many fraudulent projects in our space. So
Yes.
We understand that for hundreds, possibly thousands of years, certain kinds of actors have been taking advantage of naive consumers via information asymmetries. And so that is drastically exacerbated in our space. The context is now global on these blockchains, and the barrier to entry is very low. So you can launch a token project quite easily. You can copy and paste. You were talking about having your work stolen before. You can copy and paste an entire token issuance project with no interest at all in delivering value to your token holders. It's basically a scam. And there are many of those projects that have gone on around the world. Less so in this country, more in other countries, but it absolutely makes sense for regulators to take a look, to make it clear that things like the Howey test and securities laws apply to these systems.
The Howey test, by the way, is the test that they use to figure out whether or not something's a security, and the way they apply it is what they call a facts and circumstances based test. So it's sort of like case by case.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of some of the statements that CFTC commissioners have recently made, where they feel like it's going to take a little time for them to wrap their heads around these developments. But in the meantime, and I've been saying this, and I think they're understanding it, the global nature of this phenomenon and the low barrier to reaching out and collecting information will enable us to self-regulate. And so that's what they've started to counsel, at least.
So, I mean, I kind of agree with the question. I mean, like, are we really going to get, is someone going to step up and answer these questions? My thing is just like, when digital asset investor kind of talks about like, how, Joe Lubin's going out and he gloats about it and he brags about, his token factory, and he can, issue out these tokens and make all this money and do all these different things. And they got, resources and buddy buddies and, high, empowerment or empowered positions, SEC, CFTC, and so on. And it's like you got, for instance, like how he talks about Library and Ripple just being, scrutinized and just being literally stomped on by, overpowering, overstepping regulation, while he just kind of, floating around like a little butterfly, just kind of flapping his wings, doing his thing, but contradicting, what Chairman Gensler and the SEC has been attacking all these other platforms and Ripple and Library about. But they're actively doing that. And that's not to throw shade at Ethereum. It's just to throw shade at like, hey, where's the equalness? Where's the fairness? Where's, the level in the playing field? So, this space can compete fairly and may the best man win, just for example. But I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to really get the answers to that. I mean, it really doesn't seem like that's the path that's going to be taken, especially if, there's some sort of, a settlement, especially, when it comes to these 63 emails that we've been talking about in the Ripple versus SC case. Like, are we really going to see those? Are we really going to ever know who the disguised whales are, or who all the actors were that were part of, this so-called ETHgate scandal or this Ethereum free pass scandal? Like, is that really going to be a thing? I don't know. I highly doubt it, but,
So the other major issue?
It would be awesome if we did, with that being said. So we're going to continue on here. Digital Asset Investor had this great tweet, says, biggest line crypto, the Wall Street machine pushing Bitcoin doesn't know who Satoshi is. Second biggest line crypto, Ethereum ownership is decentralized. And he says, parentheses, the disguised whales from the ICO. Quite interesting. Tech XRP put up this great tweet. It says European Parliament, Ripple XRP source in the thread. So if we click into this, it says European Parliament. Unlike Ethereum inventors, Ripple's inventors did not sell a portion of XRP via a crowd sale upon XRP creation to fund Ripple Labs, Inc. The company was privately funded. Ripple is an open source, peer-to-peer decentralized digital payment platform that allows for near instantaneous transfers of currency regardless of their form. And it says, for example, US dollar, yen, Bitcoin. So this says Policy Department for Economic, Scientific, and Quality of Life Policy, European Parliament. Yeah, there's obviously, those of us that, are fans of XRP and Ripple, we know, the fight that they're, currently in with the SEC and, with all the, haters and the people that are trying to, bring it down within, the crypto community. But in outside of that, if you really just look at the grander scheme of things, Ripple's still going out there building massive partnerships, and XRP is going to have its, its day in the sun. And it's just a matter of when, not if. So now getting off of Ripple, XRP, SEC stuff, this is from CoinDesk. MicroStrategy buys 191 million worth of Bitcoin. The software company now holds 129,218 Bitcoin. So obviously we know Michael Saylor is a massive Bitcoin maxi, and he's has a lot of optimism when it comes to Bitcoin and blockchain technology, and obviously you can contest to that by how much they hold and they continue to buy, which is absolutely massive. And then there's been talk of, how come he doesn't purchase Bitcoin on, the regular market to, help influence, the charts in a sense. And I guess he does he buys and purchases on the OTC. So over the counter, or is that what it's called? Yeah. Over the counter purchases, to where it doesn't really reflect within, the charts. So that's a whole nother topic of discussion, but this is massive. Coming over here. Oh, coming back to this. So we talk about, the Bitcoin being on exchanges is dwindling, as more people purchase it, take it off and put it into cold storage, whatever, whether that be a ledger or whatever the case is. So it's like, as that demand increases for people wanting to purchase Bitcoin and there's not as big of a supply on exchanges, that's obviously going to impact, the price of it. So then you still have, big purchasers like, MicroStrategy and Micro and MacroStrategy, them putting it on their balance sheet, and they're buying massive portions of it. Even if it's over the counter, they're still taking it out of the supply, which still can have that same effect, which is massive. This survey from Cointelegraph, I thought it was kind of interesting. Don't know, how really relevant it is, but I just thought it was a great topic of discussion. It says, survey, more than a quarter of U.S. millennials plan to use crypto to fund retirement. The percentage was marginally higher than those who said they would rather use savings and stocks to meet the same ends. So I think they only surveyed 4,000 U.S. adults ages 18 to 76. But I think this is a huge conversation that can be had, because I know for me in particular, being in the space, especially, looking at, speaking to other community members, whether that's in Telegram, Discord, whatever the case is, like, it seems like it's a growing known thing that we as the younger generation, millennials, Gen Z, maybe, some just before millennials, just more and more people are being educated on the space, and they see where this thing is going. So they'd rather, place their bets in this area than in our regular traditional markets, which, I can agree with. Coming up here from Cointelegraph says Ledger launches NFT-focused hardware wallet Nano S Plus. The new Ledger Nano S Plus is the sixth hardware wallet produced by Ledger since the firm introduced its first wallet, HW1, back in 2015. So there's a quote that comes down here, says, quote, Ledger Nano users have always been able to store NFTs on their devices through partners. On the Ledger Nano X and new Ledger software application, Ledger's Live prioritizes NFT support, where users can view their NFTs in Ledger Live and securely transact through clear signing. So I think they were talking about, you being able to display your NFTs like on the screen. That's I think that's kind of what the conversation was being about. But I mean, it's massive. So obviously, you can see that NFTs really are here to stay. People are really seeing the future and how important NFTs are going to be for, this industry and our space, and then the future and where things are going. So obviously you can see, they're jumping on, just like a lot of the other major corporations and tech companies out there, blockchain companies and so on. So that's positive. I thought this was cool. This is from Decrypt. It says Ocean's 11 director Steven Soderbergh gives $300,000 to crypto-powered film fund. Oscar-winning director is teaming up with Roman Coppola's decentralized pictures and platform that uses crypto to fund films. I thought that was pretty interesting. And lastly, this Tesla CEO Elon Musk joins Twitter board after taking 9.2% stake. So the conversation was like, there was people that were saying, oh, he's only taking a passive position where he's just going to hold. He's not going to actually be involved. But now it came out that Elon Musk has been appointed to Twitter's board after it was announced yesterday that he had acquired a 9.2% stake in the social media firm. So I've been following some of the tweet threads that's been going on from Elon Musk and other community members, and I knew that. I mean, I don't say I knew. It was my guess that he was definitely going to take a non-passive approach to his large investment that he made, especially with all the talks of, he didn't like the fact that, there's a centralized, algorithm and the suppression of freedom of speech and all that stuff. So he obviously had, a heart to heart, and he had a true feeling like, hey, this can be better. This needs to be better. We can't, suppress people's voices, and we want, people to be heard, and we got to find a way to make, an algorithm that's, favorable for all parties and not just, certain players, major players within, the platform. So I think this is absolutely positive. And just like I've said in our previous video yesterday, Twitter and YouTube are massive platforms in regards of, crypto awareness, crypto education, people, coming in, viewing crypto videos, learning about crypto, and they eventually jump in and dive into the space. So I think, Elon Musk being on this board, trying to find a way to make it better, all it does is almost add more fuel to the fire for, us in the Twitterverse, being on Twitter, being able to, voice our opinions about things, educate people about things. And, that way none of us are being, our accounts are being taken down, or, what we're saying is being suppressed in regards of, I'm just saying in regards of crypto in particular. But I think this is pretty positive. Obviously, Twitter's not just about crypto, but I'm saying there's a massive population of crypto users utilizing Twitter and YouTube as major social platforms. So I think it's just positive. This is a step in the right direction. With all that being said, there's so much going on. There's a lot of positivity. Still got a lot of negative narratives going on out there. Got a tongue twister there. And with the Bitcoin Miami conference starting tomorrow, I think I'm curious to see what's going to come about from that conference. But with all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.